Hello, everyone, and welcome to our knowledge transfer sessions. I'm John Erickson. I'm a certified financial planner professional here in Bellevue, Washington. And today I want to talk about the 3 things that I find most retirees go through when they transition from their working years to retirement. Okay, and so these are the kind of 3 things that you should consider for yourself before you go through your retirement phase. And one of the first things I always mention, it's actually based upon a real client experience of mine. I had a client come in my office one time, a husband and wife couple, and they did great. They saved appropriately for retirement. They had good assets, good income, all sorts of really good things. And then when they went to kind of do some basic analysis, how does their finances look? I looked at them and said, you can live on reasonably $11,000 a month of income for the rest of your life. And there's a reasonable expectation your money will also grow, and everything looks great. You've done everything right. And I could tell they generally liked me, and they might want to consider working with me as their financial professional. But then all of a sudden, they didn't want to talk to me again. And it was I thought it was a little weird. I was like, well, I've had people I didn't click with before. I've had, not every client is going to be a good fit for me, or a lot of people want to do things themselves, and I respect that. And when I do these videos, I also think of this from the do-it-yourself mindset. But these people I was pretty sure wanted help. So I was reaching out to them, and I finally got touch base with them, and they remarked to me that they didn't want to live on $11,000 a month of income. And it goes without saying, if you can live on $11,000 a month of income, you don't have to. But from their perspective, they were afraid that they were spending so much of their money. They weren't ready to kind of unlock that money, that they were a little afraid. It was really interesting. And it got me thinking about, some 3 kind of basic problems I find that retirees have as they transition from what I call the accumulation phase, or most people call it the accumulation phase, where you're trying to save for retirement, and the spending phase. And the first one I would say is a lot of people when they first retire are going to be afraid to spend money. Okay, so number 1, you're afraid to spend money. And not everyone's in this camp, but I would say that the majority of people are actually. And there's actually a problem for me as a financial planner, because so from a financial planning perspective, if I get someone to save or not spend very much money, they're probably never going to run out of money, depending upon their situation. So there's actually a good incentive for me to not have you spend money. But I actually want my clients to spend money. And even if you're not my client, if you're someone who wants to set up their own retirement, I'd suggest to you want to spend money as aggressively as possible in your early years. That's reasonable. There has to be a mathematical basis to it. So I'm not saying, go to Vegas and bet it all in black. But you do want to really set up that income plan, because, oftentimes you don't realize this when you first retire, though you'll get it when I say this. You only have so many good summers in retirement. Okay? You only have so many good summers in retirement until the party's over, until something breaks down, until you the pass or a spouse passes, right? I have lots of clients in my practice who had this perfect retirement setup, and then their spouse unfortunately passed too early. And then they're stuck at home, and they're like, what do I do? And I have a lot of conversations, because I'm always trying to get my clients to spend money about joining clubs, or I'm always trying to jog their mind about other things they could be doing. But my goal is to break this fear of you can't spend money in early retirement, because you can, okay? And part of the reason why that the average person doesn't spend money in early retirement, this is the second problem I often run into, is there's this loss of feeling of being in control anymore. You are less in control of your destiny. You're not in the workforce anymore. You're not necessarily getting a paycheck anymore. You're relying on younger generations who don't listen to the same music or think the same way as you anymore. There are market forces you can't control: interest rates, market returns, inflation, your health. There's a lot of things on there that you just don't have control over anymore, or don't feel like you have as much anymore. I actually, when someone first retires, I'm much more aggressive reaching out to them and making sure they feel okay than further on the retirement, because things kind of get under control and you kind of get down a path. And so one of the things I'll mention is it's very normal to feel out of control. And I will say, once you get it fixed, and it takes a year, maybe 2 for some people, once you get it all locked down, the healthcare decisions, the investment decisions, your income plan, you're going to feel in control again. But that initial retirement period, you may not realize this yet, but there's a lot of lack of control problems. And then the last one is really interesting. I always say that today, someone at their fingertips has access to information and investment opportunities I could only dream of professionally 20 years ago. While you're watching this video, you could buy an ETF probably. And the problem really is when we talk about getting to retirement, there's this thing called paralysis by analysis that occurs. And paralysis by analysis is the third thing I wanted to bring up to you. It's where you have essentially access to unlimited information. You have all sorts of different articles, retirement professionals, friends, neighbors, family, who are giving you different retirement ideas. And honestly, a lot of them work really well. And at the same time they work really well, they're competing with each other, and they're giving you conflicting information. It can be really hard to get through that paralysis by analysis period. And so I'd suggest to you that you should probably start your retirement planning a year earlier than you were thinking, just to kind of get through some of this paralysis by analysis, because it usually hits someone one way or the other. It's this combination of feeling out of control and then the paralysis by analysis. It can really mess up them things. And when you combine that with being afraid to spend money, it's how you don't mess up necessarily retirement, but you don't have as impactful early retirement years. And my goal is always to have someone have really good, impactful early retirement years, because you only have so many good summers left. Now, if you ever want to ask questions to us, or want to work with a financial planner who's more of a hands-on financial planner, you're welcome to contact us. My office is in Bellevue, Washington. But beyond that, I hope you like these knowledge transfer videos, because we're going to keep building them out there, because I recognize a lot of people want to do this themselves, and so I'm just going to try and get everyone down their path. So thank you, and watch for our next video.